The Iraq War. The full story. 19 years ago on March 19, 2003, air raid sirens wailed across the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, announcing the beginning of a new war. That night, the United States, with the participation of Britain, Australia, and Poland, launched massive airstrikes targeting the presidential palace and military and government sites. This was followed by a ground invasion by American forces and their allies, beginning what became known as the Third Gulf War, or the Iraq War. The war lasted for more than a month, during which the Iraqis fought fierce battles against the invading forces. It ended with the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, ushering in a new era of chaos and destruction that would last for many years. The roots of the conflict before the invasion. The story began after the Second Gulf War when Iraq occupied Kuwait in 1990. The response came swiftly from the United States and its allies, who launched Operation Desert Storm to liberate Kuwait and force the Iraqi army to withdraw. After the defeat, a stifling economic blockade was imposed on Iraq, including military and trade sanctions, which led to the collapse of the Iraqi economy and the deterioration of living conditions. Although Jordan, through the port of Aqaba, was Iraq's only outlet during that period, this was insufficient to alleviate the crisis. A humanitarian disaster under siege. The blockade lasted for many years and resulted in an unprecedented humanitarian disaster. An estimated 1.5 million Iraqi children died due to starvation and lack of medicine. Malnutrition spread amid the collapse of the health system and the lack of essential medicines. Despite this suffering, Washington was searching for a justification to launch a new war on Iraq. In June 1993, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush survived an assassination attempt during his visit to Kuwait, and the CIA accused Saddam Hussein's regime of being behind it. In response, the United States launched 27 missiles at the Iraqi intelligence headquarters in Baghdad, killing more than 60 civilians, including Iraqi artist Layla al-Attar, who was targeted simply for drawing a picture of Bush Sr. on the floor. U.S. escalation, pretext for war. In 1993, a bombing occurred at the World Trade Center in New York, killing 6 people and wounding more than 1,000. Despite the lack of evidence of Iraqi involvement, some political circles in Washington attempted to link the incident to Saddam Hussein. In 1998, the U.S. Congress passed the Iraq Liberation Act, the stated goal of which was to overthrow Saddam Hussein's regime. That same year, the administration of President Bill Clinton claimed that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, launching a massive media campaign against Baghdad. The September 11th attacks, the Great Pretext. On September 11, 2001, the United States suffered terrorist attacks targeting the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, attributed to al-Qaeda led by Osama bin Laden. However, George W. Bush and his advisors quickly exploited the incident to link Iraq to terrorism, despite the absence of any evidence of a connection between Saddam Hussein and al-Qaeda. Washington repeatedly claimed that Iraq possessed nuclear and biological weapons, despite international inspection teams' denials. Preparing for the invasion. Washington began mobilizing international support, gaining the backing of countries such as Britain, Australia, Poland, Spain, and Italy. France and Germany opposed the war and demanded continued inspections. On March 17, 2003, George W. Bush gave Saddam Hussein an ultimatum to leave Iraq within 48 hours, or there would be all-out war. Saddam Hussein ignored the ultimatum, and Bush announced the start of military operations 2 days later, the beginning of the war and the fall of Baghdad. At dawn on March 19, 2003, American aircraft began raining missiles on Baghdad, while ground forces advanced through Kuwait towards southern Iraq. Fierce battles took place, most notably the Battle of Nasiriyah, where American forces encountered fierce resistance. The Battle of the Airport, which was the last line of defense for Baghdad. However, due to the overwhelming military superiority of the United States and the poor organization within the Iraqi army, the defenses quickly collapsed. On April 9, 2003, Baghdad officially fell, and American soldiers appeared in Firdos Square, where they toppled the statue of Saddam Hussein in a scene broadcast by international media, marking the end of his rule. Occupation and chaos. Iraq under American control. The American occupation of Iraq lasted 8 years, during which the country witnessed a state of chaos and security collapse. Armed militias proliferated, state institutions collapsed, museums and libraries were looted, and American soldiers were even involved in widespread looting of gold and historical artifacts. One of the most horrific crimes witnessed during the occupation was the Abbey